Third reactor. Roll off.
What's up, Reactorites? I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we just got out of watching Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. So what we're going to talk about here, it's going to be spoiler heavy. So if you don't want to be spoiled, turn away now. And, come back when you're watching the movie. Because we're just going to share our thoughts. We're just going to have a discussion on what we liked about the movie and parts that we have problems with. So let's begin.
All right.
Let's talk with the good.
Okay.
Yeah. So you, overall, what did you think of the movie?
I really liked it. I like the overall story. The overall, Rogue One, you take it as an overall story. It's a great idea. It's a great movie. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have its problems, but overall, I liked it.
What are the things that you liked about the movie?
I think it's just how different it was. Like, I think we kept, me and John sat next to each other in the theater, and we kept turning to each other. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, a lot of things that we just never seen in any Star Wars movie you see in this movie.
Yeah. This one, the stakes are pretty high. You really feel that this is war. Mm-hmm. Like other Star Wars movies, of course there's war. Some people die, but then at the end, people, they triumph, and everyone kind of lives happily ever after. Here, a lot of people die.
Yeah. And I think it's just some of the action scenes just seem just a little bit more surreal. Mm. Like, especially there's that scene where they're in Jeddah, and they're in the little city. And it seems almost like a terrorist attack kind of thing,
Oh yeah. Oh wow! It does remind me of that, where the Imperial troopers reminds me of the military, and then the
Saw Gerrera's guys.
Saw Gerrera's guys. They're like the people that are just stopping them and putting bombs and bombing them.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's just a coincidence. And the other stuff that I like the supporting characters. I like Donnie Yen's character, Chirrut, and his buddy, and K2. Alan Tudyk as K2SO. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a fan favorite. And so is Donnie Yen. His story for his character is so interesting, because you find out that he's not a Jedi, but at one time he guarded the temple. He was a security for the temple or whatever.
He's just a devout follower. It's kind of like if you go to a church and you have the priests can be like the Jedis, but then you have the altar boys. so he could be like an altar boy. Okay, but yeah, that's a very weird analogy, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, but I thought it was really cool, to see somebody on the outside of he's not a Jedi, but at the same time he believes enough in it. Yeah. That he's kind of devoted his life to it.
Yeah, and even other characters believe in too, like Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones as Jyn. She's a believer in the Force. May the Force be with you. And so people still have that belief in the Force.
Yeah, and it's just cool to see. Like I was saying before, just first times we seeing things we see it in the movie. We see a Sith temple, and you've seen it if you watched Rebels. You see the Sith temple, but you never seen it in live action. You actually see it here, and then you also see there was one part when we were talking about the attack on the military. There's a Wampa that was part of what's it called, Saw Gerrera's guys, and I've never seen a Wampa outside of just that scene with Luke, and
the Wampa looks kind of different. I'm not even sure if it is a Wampa, but it's white. It has characteristics. It's got the white fur. It's big. But it looks different.
And he was running around, and I was like, "Is that a Wampa?" I've never seen one outside of that one scene with Luke in the cave.
Yeah, and the other, it's just the visual is pretty great. Watching the Death Star, the way I think they can. Because you've seen the Death Star blow up planets, but here they're able to contain it, so the whole planet doesn't explode.
Yeah.
So let's take out a city. They could just point to the city and just have that city explode.
Yeah, and that was really cool. To see them test it out. Really do some trial runs with it. Let's see what this thing can do. Hopefully we just all don't die in here.
Oh, yeah. And the other part, my favorite part. We'll go right to it. This is at the very end.
Okay.
And Darth Vader, he shows up. He's trying to get the plans to the Death Star, and he's cutting up rebels left and right. That was badass.
Yeah. Oh my God. we need to somehow have like some in-between story where we have more of that Darth Vader. Because like I wanted that Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Like I figured that, okay, they were gonna have him become Darth Vader, and then like he was gonna continue on in the movie as Darth Vader. And
Yeah.
destroy everything, because he's one of the main people that also helps hunt Jedi, right? Like at the end, like after Order 86, he goes and tries to hunt more Jedi.
He's there to help out and hunt. And
I want to see that.
Yeah, just watch him be a badass. But I don't think people want to watch a movie where he's hunting Jedis and it's just so gloomy and sad.
Yeah. But it was just cool to see that one scene.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, just puts that fear in you.
Yeah, because I don't even think he's shown. Like the only time you saw him, Darth Vader, just being a real badass, Star Wars Rebels, where he's facing Kanan and Ezra.
Yeah.
Like just that, like just him controlling things and moving ships and big stuff. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So here we kind of get a taste of it, which is more than what we saw in the original. Because in the original, he just moves like some objects left and right, and here he's just annihilating rebels left and right. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was really cool. So, now for the bad, or the stuff that we kind of didn't like. I wouldn't say I hated these parts. I just think that there's things they could have done better. Don't you think?
Yeah. For me, the main thing that bugged me was the CG for certain characters. And if you've seen the scene, the one with Tarkin, it just bugged me.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool CG. It's like well done CG, but I know it's CG, and the whole time I'm just thinking, I'm just distracted. Like I'm not busy watching the performance. I'm just busy watching, like, whoa, look at how they do that CG. Like I'm just busy studying it and nitpicking it, and that kind of took me away from just following the story.
I think I feel it because like at first I liked it, and then I think the more I saw of it, the less I liked it.
Yeah. So for me, what I think they could have done was just show less of him, and they don't need to, like, if he wants to assert authority, you can do it like via hologram or like an intercom. Like he doesn't need to be there at all times.
Yeah.
Like he can, like, you know, like how the Emperor, like you see the Emperor, he's like a tease. So just have him be a tease.
Yeah, I agree, because that part, and then even like there's at the end, Princess Leia shows up, and you can even tell she's CG.
Yeah. But the cool thing about the Princess Leia, they only did it for a really short time.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit okay. Like it wasn't as, it still feels off, but it was short.
One of the negatives I took away from the movie, like some of the dialogue, it's just kind of awkward. It's not really the best dialogue that they're giving, especially to the main characters for Cassian and Jyn Erso. Especially like Diego Luna. I'm a big fan of Diego Luna, and I was like really happy for him to be a part of this movie, to be a big budget picture, you know?
Yeah.
Itu Mangatan was a long time ago, man. Like, so congrats to him, but just some of the dialogue they gave him just wasn't memorable.
Yeah, it's they have both Jyn and Cassian. They have interesting backgrounds, like the history, like they're serving the rebel. Cassian's like the rebel fighter since he was 6 years old, and Jyn, she's the daughter of a guy that used to work for the Imperial. But just them, I just wish they were more just fun to watch, or just just interesting, more interesting now, because their history is interesting. But they don't shine like the supporting characters do. The supporting characters are great.
The supporting characters make this movie.
Yeah. And
for some reason, I don't know why. And I think it maybe has something to do with the director, Gareth Edwards. If you know his style, if you know any of his previous movies, like, I don't know if you guys know Monsters or Godzilla, like, even in Monsters, like, I remember watching that movie and going like, wow, I really do not like these two people. There's two people and their like awkward relationship I could get less of a shit about, but I'm more interested in the monsters and what's going on with them. Same thing with Godzilla, like Aaron Taylor Johnson
and Elizabeth Olsen. Those two characters are pretty forgettable. And the whole time, for me at least, I just want to watch Godzilla. More focus on Godzilla and less on these two characters. Like, there are some characters that are fun to watch when you're setting it up. Those two, the characters that they portray, not interesting at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt about the two main characters. But I mean, I loved K2, Donnie Yen, even Baz or Bays or whatever was his
Yeah.
his buddy. Those were great characters, and I even like Bodhi a little bit.
Bodhi's
too.
okay.
Yeah.
Another Bodhi. He's a pilot
Uh-huh.
for the Imperial. I wanted to see him actually fly and just take over. Like, look what I can do, guys! Because at the end of the movie, there's an epic battle.
Uh-huh.
Of course, it's Star Wars, so you have to have, a battle in the sky. In the space. And here, we don't have any character that's in space that's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And so these are all just characters you don't really give a shit about. So when they die, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
At least in the other ones, the original, you have Luke Skywalker up there. So of course you're rooting for him. He's flying.
Wait, we both of us did cheer when they said Red Leader.
Yeah, Red Leader, yeah. But that's more like an homage.
But
yeah.
we both of us like simultaneously, they're like Red Leader. We're like, yeah.
But yeah, this just have him be part of the space battle. Then you have something to root for, and the stakes will be higher because you have a character and care.
Yeah, exactly. And then like it was like, is that General Akbar's father?
Yeah.
Grandfather, uncle? I was like, somehow they're gonna connect him to General Akbar somehow, but he was just some other general, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, but speaking of stakes, the stakes were really high, and this one, when I talked about how people were dying, so pretty much everyone, all the main characters are dead.
Yeah.
So that is kudos. That's great because stealing the Death Star plan, it's like a lot. People will die for this just to help save, help out the rebels. And here everyone's dead. So Donnie Yen's character and Bodhi and then Jyn Erso and Cassian, the two main characters, they die. I like that scene where you see the Death Star shooting the planet, and then it's just wipes.
Yeah. And even for wasn't it Krennic to see the Death Star be used on himself, I thought that was great. That was like poetic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was like, he looks up, oh, there's the Death Star. Oh my god.
But yeah, oh my god, that scene, because like the planet's exploding, they've got the plans, and like they're like, all right, we need to get out of here.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as they get out of there, boom, Star Destroyer, and Data's there, and they like crash into it.
Yeah.
That was great. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was cool, but it would have been better if it was like piloted by someone we know. These are just random rebel characters.
Yeah.
Like the actual scene is cool, but I wish there was just
somebody.
There's too much focus on the space battles for characters, but yeah.
Somebody we all love. Somebody maybe not human, but has a heart of gold.
Oh yeah.
Even though he's a robot.
Yeah.
And that man is K2.
K2. Oh my god, that guy. That robot is so funny. He's like one of the best parts of the film.
We were talking to our friends, and we were like, I thought, like, because they kept talking about like certain things, and I was like, K2 is gonna survive this. If everybody else dies, at least K2 will survive, because he's gonna have the plans. Because I thought they were gonna literally like shoot him into space.
Yeah, that would have been cool because he can breathe. He won't die from being in space. So for somehow just involve him in the space stuff. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I was like, how are they gonna shoot him in space? And then, I mean, his ending was cool. The way he went out was great.
Oh yeah, poor Alan Tudyk. It's like he has no luck with these sci-fi films, like with Firefly and Rogue One. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on the movie. We recommend watching this if you're a Star Wars fan. And I highly enjoyed the film. I like the visuals, just seeing the Star Wars universe, just seeing other planets, seeing these characters that aren't part of the Skywalker family, just to see how life is outside of that. And that's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
So let us know what you thought of the movie on the comment section below. And, let us know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and who's your favorite character? K2? Yeah. And if you enjoyed our review, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And also, if you want, you can support us on Patreon. With that said, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next time.